Alright guys, I've been asked a couple times to critique my big extended stay kit and or bug out bag, whatever you want to call it, my true long-term plan. First, because I'm going to set it there, as you can see there's nothing on the ground there other than the ground, because that's where I'm eventually going to have to sit this bag. Start with the vest that I would wear out the door if I'm planning on leaving and it's a bad situation. I'm going to have to move the camera around a lot on this, I'm sorry. This is my, used to be my entry vest when I was cop. It carries, I've got 4 primary weapon system magazines, just case an AR-15, which you've seen in other videos. I've got some secondary weapons, which for me is a Glock. Got a couple of shotgun shells that I believe I carry. That's all 1-ounce slugs. Because I have a sawed-off shotgun that would go with me, and it would be accessible quick through a sling carry on my pack. But yeah, that's the best. Now I'm not going to do this all in one video because it would be about a 3-hour video. So I'm going to kind of move in sections. Today I'm going to go over the outside of the pack. I guess I'll take this off first. Sorry, you got to look at my pinky finger there for a minute. Here's roughly my pack. Back of it. Here's the front. Start here. This will be on my left side. Carry a pair of handcuffs. Handcuffs have an excellent tool in a lot of different situations. Obviously for restraining people. This is actually going to work with me holding the camera, so I'm going to put it down and we'll put the bag on the ground and get it all set up here. As everybody knows from my last video, I told them I will not give me 1 second. Guess I should have stopped the camera and kind of, but I didn't. So anyway, everybody knows everything in my 72-hour pack will go with me. I really like first aid pouches, U.S. Army first aid pouches, because they're obviously quickly removed, which means I can give my gear to my family as I need to. Moved up. In front of them handcuffs, moving forward on my left hip, I have a pair of binoculars. These are Bushnell Instavisions. They are hard to get out of here, first of all. I believe in tethering my gear to my pouches so they can't really fall and get lost at night in the dark. So, like I said, there I got a pair of binoculars, because when you're moving through the woods and trying to move quietly, you don't want to, you know, I don't really carry magnification optics on my close quarters weapon system. These are just another good option to have quick and immediate access to. In front of that, I have a couple of spare magazine carriers, secondary weapon system, Glock magazines. What are the odds? Me, I have another knife. This is a Kershaw something. I don't know if that's the actual name of it, BLWM, but just fixed, you know, quick lock blade knife I have shoved down in a cracker crevice. On the other side of my pouch, I have on my belt, the belt of the pack, I have a couple of empty first aid pouches, because you never know what you're going to need. On the back of the pack, obviously I have a couple of knives that are, just going to turn this over here. On the back of the pack, I have a couple, my bushcraft knives. See here, my M9 bayonet and Glock bayonet. Carry some face paint. Standard flat black, brown, and green. In case I need to veg up and go hide. I carry a quick detach, which this actually would go on my hip then. It's a extended drop leg primary weapon system pouch. In there I have two standard, which for me are 30 round 69 grain boat tail hollow points, my custom load. And then I carry another set of, the reason this is taped red and does not have the Magpul floor plate on it, the reason it doesn't have the Magpul floor plate is because when I grab it at night and I can't see it, I need to know what it is. And being that this is an option for me and it would be my furthest back option, what this is SS-109 armor piercing ammunition. So that magazine is set up where I can grab it if I'm shooting at something and I'm not having a positive effect on it and I need it to fall down and it's not, I'm going to revert to SS-109, assuming it's wearing the body armor that my standard ammunition's not going to get through. Here in this pouch I carry 100 round Beta C, again primary weapon system. I've got a canteen, which I don't know if you can see that. Standard Army issue canteen on my pack. That's kind of heavy. But that's about it for the outside of the pack. When we start getting into the inside of the pack, got my snare kit. We're just going to kind of go through a pocket here. Got my 22 conversion kit, goes in this pocket. And then I carry a vacuum brick of a little bit of 22 ammunition and a roll of brown twine that randomly will have itself blend to effective use of my 22 kit. And then yet another knife. This is CRKT fixed blade. I've got it on a lanyard on here, but the lanyard can be quickly removed just by untying a knot. Fixed blade knives are good to have. I actually put myself a little, essentially, thumb break on here. But that's the outside and the beginnings of one pocket. And like I said, in an effort to keep this video kind of short, now I'm going to curtail one of the important parts. Obviously on the other side over here I have my large machete, which I put in the last one. That is the Gerber sawback machete, which you can get at Bass Pro Shop for 60-80 bucks. Good piece of steel. But that's going to be it for going through my pockets of the pack and the outside for now. But I am going to curtail my snare kit. And I'm going to do a video a little bit later on this kit, on this snare kit, on how to use it. But I like, these are Sierra ammo boxes, and you'll find as we go along, reloading ammo boxes. If you're buying bulk bullets from Sierra, this is what the boxes look like. This is actually a 308 box. But inside here I have a set of snares, pre-made snares. And I'll do a little video later on how to make these snares and how to use them. But you know, the problem with using strings for a snare is and once you snare a critter, if you snare him far enough back that he can chew on your rope, he's going to chew through it and get away. Not to mention, even 550 cord snares, although they work, they can really bind up. And they're not fast, and they can be released. So in this kit, I have 7 snares. Now, for the sake of carrying them, I use little zip ties on them. I can cut off. I'll cut a set off here, just let you get a better look at them. I don't wrap them in tape, because I actually used to just wrap them in black tape, and the reason I stopped is that stickiness of that tape was interfering in the ability of the snare to work. A lot of guys will pre-bend their snares, so they, when they extend the actual snare itself to work, it'll hang up there. I don't pre-bend mine because I don't know what actual game I am going to be dealing with out in the woods. I mean, I might decide I'm going after rabbits, I might decide I'm going after squirrel, I might be trying to snare a larger animal because that's what's around that day. Sharp edge on that one. When I built these, I used a pair of crimpers, and I went to the local hobby store, and instead of buying the big ugly clamps that you screw down that are about, God, they're about that big or however big they are, I bought some brass tubing. God, you probably can't even see that. I bought some brass tubing that was just big enough to get the size cable I found. And you get this cable, I get this cable at Atwood's, which is, if you don't have an Atwood's around, it's kind of like a Tractor Supply or a Lowe's or whatever. I think this stuff was, God, it was like 14 cents a foot, 8 cents a foot, something like that. It wasn't much. And I bought, I think there's 20 feet here. Bought that roll of tubing, or that piece of tubing, and that piece of tubing would probably make, you know, you make 2 little crimp parts on your wire, there and there. That piece of tubing, I think it was 3 feet long, will probably make, oh God, I couldn't tell you, 30 snares anyway. And then a penny. And the reason for the penny is, as you can see, it will allow my snare to close very quickly. But if you try to pull it back against itself, because I bent the penny, if you can see that, after I drilled a couple holes in it, I bent it over, and like I said, I'll get into a more detailed video on how this works. So like I said, it'll quickly latch onto whatever you're after, but when you pull back against it, it puts the cable in a bind, and the harder you pull, the tighter it gets. On the other end, I can take a piece of 550 cord, loop it through there. That's why I put a loop on the other end. Quick attach point to my, now I believe this stuff is 97 pound test or something like that, and no small little critter is going to be able to chew through it. Snares are an art form. If you're going to sorry about that. Kind of not prepared this morning. Still working in the fog of sleep. Not enough coffee. if you're going to try to learn to use snares, you need to do it now while you have time. It's not something you want to be trying on the fly to get right by any standards. It is not a high percentage form of meat gathering, in my opinion, but it's damn sure an option. And if you're going to be in a position, I don't carry this in my 72-hour kit, and here's why. If I'm in a 72-hour survival situation, I am either A, trying to get back to my big kits to get the hell out of Dodge, or B, trying to be found, saved, because I am in a survival situation that I did not choose to put myself in. So I don't really look at snares as a quick means of food. You know, to me, fishing is a quick means of getting food. To me, snares, although are a viable option, and you can catch, you know, there's a million videos out there of people, you know, actually setting up a snare and letting it catch an animal. I cannot do that video here. It's against the law to do it. Would I do it in a survival situation, even if it's against the law? Absolutely. You know, that's kind of a no-brainer. There's some people that are still convinced they can't break the law, even if they're trying to survive. If I'm trying to survive, all bets are off, I guarantee you, as far as what I'm willing to do to survive. So, anyway. So I'm not going to set up a snare and let it catch a rabbit or a squirrel or anything else you would catch with the snare. Just because I'm not going to break the law for the sake of a video. And I have no desire to kill an animal that I don't intend to eat or don't need to eat. So it's not because I won't. It's not because I won't eat squirrel. It's not because I won't eat rabbit by any standards. It's just because there's no point in it. There's no point in killing an animal just for the sake of a YouTube video. I will set a snare up when we get out to the woods, and we're planning a little bushcraft / camping trip here in the next couple of weeks. So I'm going to get out there and do a couple, you know, some of the stuff I've been talking about now that the weather's broke. I'm going to get out in the real world and truly show you how it works. Said I'll do another video on the more in-depth stuff in my pack, and why I put it there in my extended stay kit. As I've said in other videos, my true bug out option, that if I am leaving my home and not planning on coming back ever, is not a pack, it's a trailer. I have a place within reasonable driving distance that I will probably, in an economic breakdown situation, or I really firmly believe that I'll be leaving before a lot of people, just because I think you'll be able to see it coming, and I think a lot of people are going to wait till the very end, the last moment, the 11th hour, whatever you want to call it, to walk. And as I don't believe in anything connected to Cosmic 2012, I do in fact believe that the reality of an economic breakdown is getting closer and closer every day. I just learned that our illustrious president has decided that he is going to close 30 or 40 coal-fired electric plants across the country. You combine doubling and tripling energy cost with $5 an hour gasoline, or $5 a gallon gasoline, or $6, or whatever it's going to hit pretty quick. Now we got some problems, and or, you know, you got that idiot over in Iran that's trying as hard as he can to build a nuclear weapon, and the Israelis telling everybody, we're not going to let that happen. And I can assure you, the Israelis are not going to let that happen. So there's just a lot of scary stuff happening in the world. stuff I don't intend to stick around and watch live on CNN. I'd just rather take my family on a camping trip for whatever length of time I need to, and if it all works out, that's great. I'll come home, deal with what I got to deal with. If it doesn't work out, I'm not going to be looking for... I will not be one of those people caught on the road trying to get where they're going. I can take back, secondary, and even deer paths, essentially, to get where I want to go for my bug out location. I can be there in an hour or two, depending on how slow I want to move. And so, for those of you who live in the big city, I'm sorry you made that choice a long time ago. You're going to have to live with that choice. For those of you who already live in deep country, get your shit together, get some options up, and truly be ready for people to come and try and take your stuff, because it'll happen, unfortunately. The unfortunate part is there's a very large percent of our population that is not prepared to feed themselves without Kroger or Walmart or Piggly Wiggly or whoever's feeding them this week. There is a very large percentage of the population that wants to, that really truly honestly believe water comes from their sink. There is a very large percent of the population that truly believes that they are entitled to your stuff. Stuff that you prepared, stuff that, if you're a quote-unquote prepper, or, you're hoarding food or whatever you're doing, more power to you. But be prepared to defend it, because there will be, for the first, I'm going to guess, my personal opinion, this is what this is, I'm going to guess for the first 3 months, there's going to be, the first 3 months are going to be the worst. The first 3 months are where the big kill-off of people that are not prepared is going to come from. There's going to be, the gang wars, and the gangs are going to be fighting to try and gather up this or gather up that, and they're going to bleed through the resources in the cities pretty fast, a couple of weeks maybe. If you're caught in the cities in that time, you're going to become a statistic or a casualty. I'm sorry. I just don't believe that the survival chances in the city are less than 10%. I don't care how many guns you have, you can only operate one at a time. I don't care how much food you have, if somebody decides they've figured out where you are, they're going to come take your food. If you live in the suburbs to a city, here's some advice. The first thing you need to do, if it breaks down, if you intend to stay in your home, is trash the front of your house. Throw your clothes out in the lawn, smash the windows, get to your basement, your attic, whatever point furthest in your home you can that is most secure, and that's where you want to hold up. You're not sleeping in your bed unless you move your bed to the attic or the basement. You're not sleeping in, you're not hanging out in the living room watching CNN, because CNN won't be on the air anyway, and after a couple of days you're not going to have electricity, so it won't matter. You're not going to have running water, so you need to come up with some water options. If you start to think things are going bad, my advice, fill your tubs and all your sinks with water, every container, every pot, every pan, every glass, every cup, because you can go ways without food, but water is going to be you guys' primary concern in the cities. So, every container and everything you can figure out, fill it up with some water. If you're going to move at night. If you're going to try and get out of the city, don't do it in the daylight. Avoid major thoroughfares. That's where the bad guys are going to lay in wait for people. Stick to the alleys, stick to the back corners. I know it's going to be scary there, but that is not the places that the bad guys are going to wait for people, because your average scared person is going to head for the freeway, head for the interstate, and go. If you can, find yourself something along the lines of an aqueduct, and follow an aqueduct out if your city has one. Get into a stream bed if there's a stream running through your city, and that'll keep you low, out of sight, and moving, and give you a direction to move. Avoid conflict at all cost. I've trained most of my life to be in gunfights. I've trained most of my life to be in gunfights, and when you get in a gunfight or an armed conflict or a knife fight or whatever you're going to get into, your chances of dying go up so much. Whether you're the best in the world, I don't care if you're a super Rambo, expendable man, whatever you want to call it, doesn't matter who you are. The minute the safeties go off and the bullets start flying or the knives come out, your chances of survival go way, way, way down. You avoid conflict at absolutely all costs. I don't care how good you are, how well armed you are. I don't care if you've got an M16, an AK-47, and a grenade launcher, and a minigun, and a flamethrower, and an FA-18 Hornet, or whatever. It doesn't make shit. You don't want to get into an armed conflict, because, in my case, once somebody kills me, and anybody can die in a gunfight. I don't care how much body armor you're wearing. It doesn't matter. Ask any one of these guys over in Herkachurkenstan somewhere. But once you die, you are useless. The minute you hit the ground dead, or worse yet, you become a casualty, an injured casualty. Now your family has to take care of you. More to the point, if you do die in that gunfight, you can't take care of your family anymore. And I've got 3 little kids and a wife I'm going to take care of. So for me, I'm going to take my long-range skill set that I have, and I'm going to go out to my hidey hole, and anybody that comes in with 1,000, 1,500 yards of that hidey hole, I'm not going to ask them what they're doing. I'm just going to stop the problem. But anyway, now I'm rambling. That was stage 1 of my kit. I'll probably put a little note on the video where the kit stopped and my mouth started on this. Sorry. Some people's ideas of what they're going to do on the end of the world baffle me. But anyway, that's the first part of my big kit. I'll do 1, 2, 3, probably at least 3 more videos on this over the course of the next couple of weeks. I will say that my kit is ever evolving. I will constantly add stuff, take stuff out, according to the seasons. I change some of the different stuff in it. I'm always upgrading stuff when I find something better, and there's always something better. On my extended stay stuff. Now I will say that at the end of the day, the basics of my kits never leave. My 72-hour kit is the basics of my kit, always. This always goes, and there's another video on what's in this, but this is always a part of my life. So, when I get people that'll tell me, well, you don't have fire in that kit, in that big kit. Go back and watch my 72-hour kit video. Yeah, I do. That's just something that I prefer to keep in my 72-hour kit. Well, you don't have a lot of 550 cord, and everybody needs 550 cord. Yeah, I do. I've got my 100-foot ring of 550 cord in here that is part of my 72-hour kit. So, like I said, as you you know, depending on how I'm going, I would prefer to take this kit, but if I'm put in a situation where it's just what I have on my back, I'm going to break this kit down and put it into my big one, because I'm not going to try and carry 2 packs. And I'll probably have to go through and make a video on, you know, I have assigned each one of my family members essentially to carry things that in their packs. I build their packs, they don't. Well, my boys do. But, you know, I build the other ones' kits accordingly. Now, obviously, there's personal items in each kit. And for the sake of that, I mean, in everybody's kit, you'll find some vacuum packed toilet paper. That's an awesome thing to have. You'll also find stuff like vacuum sealed socks, because let me tell you, once your feet get ate up, the rest of your body's going to follow. And I vacuum seal all this stuff for a couple of reasons. You can get a lot more in your pack if it's vacuum sealed than you can if it's not. And once you take it out and use it, it's not going to matter. I guess when you want to break it down, does my kit contain, you know, my extended stay kit? You know, these over here, this is what I put in my boys' kit. That is, oh God, 1, 2, 3, 4 deep. 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. That's about 600 matches. So that's his surefire. He's still a youngster. He hadn't learned some of the other tricks, but you know, he can still use the cotton ball trick and a flint, but he likes matches. And he talked me into buying him a brick of matches so he could vacuum seal it and put it in his kit. You know. Oh, somebody's going to ask me why I put the little 200 foot of light purpose, all-purpose string in my kit. String that you're not concerned about whether or not you have it or lose it, or, you know, 550 cord I consider a commodity because of everything you can do with it. But if I just need to make a, you know, tie something up that I'm going to leave it and forget it, you know, this is strong enough that your average person can't break it with their hands. So if I incorporate this with my handcuff option, I can bind somebody, and then I'm not worried about whether or not I have to try and recover that cord. And it, you know, it was like $1. Takes up a couple inches in my pack. Therefore, it's not a big deal to me. You know, 550 cord with all you can do with it is truly a commodity, huge commodity. So anyway, that's the end of this video. I need to shut up now. Appreciate you watching. If you did sit here to the end of this, I really appreciate you sitting and listening to me babble. But if you did sit and listen to the end of this, and I'm going to put a big annotation in the middle of it when I stop critiquing gear, that now I'm just babbling, that's the end of the kit. But if you did sit and listen to the end of this, think things out. Don't make rash decisions. And remember, water is everything. Water is everything. If you do not have a way to filter water or chemically treat water, which I guess I'll do a video on that too. If you cannot make yourself clean water, you're going to be a gear donor. You can't carry enough to survive. You have to figure out how you can find it, filter it, make it drinkable, and just boiling water works, but it's not the greatest thing in the world. There's a quick little filter setup that you can build, and I'll show you how. You know, the one in the trailer I have is 2 5-gallon buckets. It'll filter, oh God, I think it's like 160,000 gallons of water before I have to change the filter. I do not carry a spare filter. You know, I put it together, I don't know, 40 bucks. That and a little bit of chlorine, which best place to get chlorine is pool shock, in my opinion. One bag of pool shock treats like 5,000 gallons of water to swimming level. It actually will treat 10,000 gallons of water or so to drinking level. But we'll do some videos on water purification later. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.